I got your drawing and I'll try to answer your questions. All right, it says the depth of this drawing. So this portion here that you're pointing to is a cross section through this, right? So the thickness of it is actually going to be the thickness of this. So this depth from here to here is the same thickness here, okay? So that's what it's saying. So let me do a linear dimension, an aligned dimension from here to here, from here to perpendicular to here. So, oops, an aligned, not a linear, aligned dimension, perpendicular. So that's 0.71. So this object here, and I'm just going to use this side here, offset 0.71, make sure that's the depth that you're using, okay? So the depth of this needs to be this big. So go ahead and trim out this. So that's how thick it's going to be. Now, the other thing that you're seeing is the cross section's being cut through here. So you have to take a look. There's going to be a diameter that gets cut all the way through. So if I project this, it's going from the intersection of this point perpendicular. I'm just going to set it perpendicular for right there for right now. Same on this side. These are my projection lines. Now you also have the cut that goes through it, and you won't see that. You'll only see the outside and the deep inside cut because it's only going through this section, right? So the other one is, I'm just going to copy this line here to here to here. All right, now here's the thing. The depth that this gets cut through is going to be the, hold on. Okay, so in the picture up here it says that this is 0.75 and it goes a 0.7 depth. That's the hole that goes all the way through. Let me move this over. That's the hole that goes all the way through. Okay, let me share these side by side. Hold on. And then you have a diameter of 1.26 and it only goes 0.35. So in this picture here, this circle right here is that bigger diameter and it only goes 0.35 down. All right, so that's what it means by the 0.35 down. So the first thing that I want to do is I am going to offset 0.35 and I'm going to take it down to here. And I'm going to extend this out to here. Okay, that's how big that one is. Now this one's going to go all the way through. So I'm going to extend this out all the way to here. That one goes all the way through. Oops, not that one. So if you take a look at the bracket here in this sketch on this side, you can see that there is a cutout here and a cutout here. Now, the reason for that is technically I think that line should have been gone, is because I have this little flat edge on here. Okay, so actually this little line right here shouldn't be there. If it's going through here and it's a section cut, it's not actually touching that. So that line right there shouldn't be there. So that was a mistake in my drawing. This line right here should not be here because that's projecting from this part here. If this section cut was further down, it would be different. Okay, so technically it should end up looking like this. Oops, let me get my trim command going. TR for trim, highlight all that, enter, get rid of that, that, and that here. Okay, so this goes through to here. Okay, since it's not actually touching anything. And then I'm going to trim this up here, 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 such as that. Because when it goes through here, it's going to have open space, and notice there's nothing touching at the top and the bottom. So technically that's what that section should be if it's a true section. So I've done that. I copied that wrong from the internet. Okay, so notice the hatching would just be touching that. Now since you won't see a visible line on those because it's actually going through it. Now on this side, where these hidden lines come from, again, you're looking at the face of this object, right? So the first thing that I see, there's this cutout here, and that cutout depth says here it's 0.25. So I'm going to come over here and go offset 0.25. That would be my first hidden line right here. I'm going to match the properties, MA for match properties. That's the first of those lines. So that's that line right here. Okay. Now, this line right here and right here come from this projected edge and this projected edge. And remember, that says that it's going a depth. This cutout is through this section, has a depth of so it goes through a depth of here. So I'm going to trim up this so these lines here go away. Okay. Alright, now this line right here to here is going to be based on this bigger circle. Alright, so what we've done so far is we've created this hidden line for this, and it gets to this point right here at the edge. Okay, now the next part where the circle, this one goes deeper, we said that that depth was 0.35. So I'm going to offset that 0.35 to here. Now, that circle, that bigger circle, is going to, and I'm going to go ahead and make a line perpendicular so I can actually Control Shift. I'm going to go to the intersection and go perpendicular here. And then I'm going to copy this from this point to that point. And that's where I need to trim off these lengths here. Okay, so that's where the hole starts to be, and I'm going to trim off this line here. Okay, this still gets projected out. I'm going to project it all the way to the cross and then trim it up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and match properties. Whoops, wrong way. MA for match properties, pick the property you want and then pick the objects. Okay, now I'm going to trim it because I don't need this section in here. Alright, now the next one, if you take a look at it, is going to be this circle here. Okay, so that circle, if I draw a line, is going to be at the intersection here and perpendicular because it goes all the way through. Control copy, intersection here, and then this line is going to be perpendicular to that, okay, and then I'm going to trim, TR for trim. I'm going to get rid of these lines. Now that match properties, MA, enter, and I'm going to select all the objects. All right, so that's how you're going to do this section, whoopsie, this section right here. You also have a little bump out there, and the reason for that is if I drew a line from this intersection here, perpendicular, I'm sorry, not there, move this intersection here to there. Notice that this is where the cutout is. So if I projected on that, there's not actually a part of it. So I would trim this whole area here like that and match properties. So this would go to here, and I would draw a line from here to here, and I would put these on the visible layer. Okay, like that. Now, the last part is to find out where that angle is. Now, if you look over here, this angle right here, that's 3.75 out, right? This length here isn't 3 point, well, you do have it at 3.75. So if I went here to there, there to there, what you're seeing is, hold on, so I brought this drawing in. The length here isn't 3.75. The length here should be 3.75. All right, so this is actually going to be shorter here. So taking a look at this, this is where this angle comes from. So this distance here should be actually from this projected line here, and then offset 3.75 this direction. So this entire area up here needs to be moved. So M for move, in point to the perpendicular, and then just trim it up. And this needs to be moved from here to here. Okay? So now it's correct. And I just have to trim these areas up. Okay, now where that angle break comes in is at this point going perpendicular. We need to put our angle in. So if you look at this up here, I'm going to cut this part of it off. So I'm going to take this down to this point right here, and then I'm going to take a line to this intersecting point here to here. Okay, so I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to take this down to here, this over to here, and then I'm going to draw this, and I'm going to draw a line from end point to end point here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and delete those so you can see it this way. Okay, so that's this angle right there. And then I'm just going to delete this line. I'm going to put that here, here, and here. Alright, so that's this portion of it. So you just have to shift this down. This is the line that's supposed to be 3.75. So go ahead and trim these up and get rid of those lines. Alright, so if you have any other questions, just let me know.